Welcome to Sacred Caregiving. My name is Barbara, and today I want to talk about something that every caregiver carries with us, whether we admit it or not: guilt. And not just the obvious guilt, but the quiet, sneaky kind that sits in your chest. That little voice that tells you you're not doing enough. You should be handling things better. You shouldn't be feeling what you're feeling. And here's the thing: most of that guilt is not real. It's not coming from what's so. It's coming from the meaning we add to what's so. There's what happened, then there's the meaning that we add to it. In Landmark, we call those meanings running rackets. It's not because we're doing something wrong. It's because, newsflash, we're human. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. I was on my way home from running errands, and there were police cars and emergency vehicles and railway lines, authority vehicles lined up along the railroad tracks across from my house. The train was stopped, crossing bars were down, lights were flashing everywhere. That was what was so. A bunch of vehicles, a stopped train, lights flashing, crossing bars down. The meaning I immediately added was, there must have been a serious accident. Now, that meaning did in fact turn out to be true later. The police posted a statement on their Facebook page about what had happened. They added to the what so, and it turned out that the meaning that I had put on it turned out to be true. But it could have just as easily been something else: a signal malfunction, a mechanical issue, police having to direct traffic. The point wasn't whether my interpretation was right or wrong. The point is, I automatically added meaning that may or may not have been the case. We all do that. And as caregivers, we do this constantly, especially when we're tired or overwhelmed. Which, let's face it, that's about 99% of the time. We take what's so, and then we pile on a whole story about what it means about us, about our loved one, about our abilities as caregivers, and about our worth. As caregivers, there's always someone who needs us, someone depending upon us, someone who is struggling. And we're doing our best to show up, even on days when we're struggling too. Especially when we're tired. And then something goes wrong, or we forget something. And then we might snap. And then suddenly, in walks our old nemesis, guilt, to drown us. But here's the thing: that guilt comes from those rackets, those interpretations, assumptions, stories that we've added on top of what's so. I'll give an example. One of the caregivers that I follow is miles above T1D. And the mom was talking about one such day where things were going wrong. So what was so was that she forgot the cell phone that Miles carries with him to school that helps monitor his Dexcom. So they had to go home and get it. And that ended up with Miles being tardy to school. That was what was so. They were late getting him to school because they had to go back home to get what was needed. The meaning mom put to it was mom fail. What so might be, I got frustrated. I yelled at my loved one. The meaning we add might be, I'm a bad caregiver. I shouldn't have gotten angry at the person. I'm a failure as a caregiver. That's not what's so. That's that old nemesis guilt coming back. None of those meanings are facts. They're just interpretations. And those interpretations and stories weigh us down. So here's the thing. The hard days don't mean you're failing. Those days when nothing goes right, when every little thing feels like too much, when you're running on fumes and you're thinking, if one more thing happens, I might actually lose my mind. Those days when you're sobbing silently or not so silently to yourself. Those days don't mean you're failing. They don't mean you're not strong enough. They don't mean that you don't care. They mean you're human. You care. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Caregiving is one of the most emotionally demanding roles a person can take on. It stretches you in ways you never expected. It asks you to show up even when you're running on empty. It asks you to be patient even when you're overwhelmed. It asks you to keep going even when you're grieving. So, of course, there are days when you feel like you're just totally falling apart. That doesn't make you a bad caregiver. It makes you a real one. Now, one of the most powerful things you can do, especially on those hard days, is give yourself a tiny break. And I don't mean a vacation or a nap or the 30 minutes to 1 hour that some of these people who are not caregivers suggest. I mean, just a few seconds right where you are. Not while you're driving, but just parked in the parking lot or waiting at the doctor's office or just when the person is in the other room or even just right next to you. Just right where you are, as you're able to, just close your eyes, take one breath in, one breath out. Not trying to change your breathing, not trying to calm your mind, not trying to stop your thoughts, just noticing. Your mind might still be racing. That's okay. Let the thoughts race by you like cars on a highway. You don't have to chase after those cars. You don't have to fix anything in that moment. Just that tiny pause, that micro moment of grace is enough to reset your nervous system, to get it out of fight or flight. It's enough to remind your body that you're safe. It's enough to remind your heart that you're doing the best you can. So, when guilt shows up, and it will, try asking yourself one simple question: what's actually so, and what meaning am I adding to it? This question alone can change everything. Because what so might be, I'm having a bad day. But the meaning you added was, I'm a horrible caregiver. When you separate the two, that old nemesis guilt starts to dissolve. You start to see yourself with more compassion. You start to recognize how much you're actually doing. And you start to give yourself the grace that you deserve. And all of that makes you a better caregiver. So here's what's so. You're human. And you deserve grace too. Thanks for watching. Thank you for being a caregiver. It truly is sacred work, even on our bad days.